Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. So this is the Future Mobility Forum. This Future Mobility Forum is to be held for the next 4 days, starting from today, to elucidate the vision of the future that the motor and the mobility industry is aiming for, and the social issues that must be overcome to realize it, together with leaders of the mobility industry. My name is Takiguchi, and I would like to serve as the moderator for this session. So the first part of the special session starts with the opening remarks by Mr. Masanori Katayama, Chairman of Japan Automobile Manufacturers Association, or JAMA. So Mr. Katayama, please come up to the stage. Mr. Katayama, over to you. Thank you very much for the introduction. My name is Masanori Katayama, Chairman of Japan Automobile Manufacturers Association, or JAMA. I would like to introduce myself. Back in 1978, I joined Isuzu Motors, and I was in charge of a production division as well as corporate planning, finance, and technology. But the starting point of my career is the 12 years that I spent at the casting and forging department of the company. So it is the casting and the division in charge of casting metal as well as the forging of the products. And I was at the shop floor. So I was black all over, and they worked together with my colleagues on the production floor. So I fully understand what it means to work in Gemba, or the actual shop floor and production floor. And today, this business event is titled Japan Mobility Show Biz Week 2024, to think about the business co-creation, which is the first initiative to be taken by JAMA. And it is indeed my great pleasure to talk with you and have a close communication with all of you. Now, the automobile industry is in the middle of the big, huge transformation. It is facing a transformation that happens once every 100 years. And the environment surrounding us is changing dynamically. And we are also witnessing many social issues and challenges, including the aging of the population and the shortage of labor, as well as the natural disasters. And also we are witnessing the changes in the way of working as well as value. And the needs of the consumers are changing. And now the automobile industry is the industry that supports many changes in the society. We have been working on the safety of the transformation, more convenient transformation, and also try to reach much further with a higher efficiency of the transportation. And we created the transportation that connected people and things smoothly. So it is not just the transportation, and the automobiles are not just the means of transportation or the means of moving from one place to another. We would like to evolve into a mobility industry to create new opportunities in order to create prosperous and the dream-inspired mobility society. So right now, CTEC is also being held at the same time, and together with the partners in the IT and electronics industry. And we appreciate their cooperation very much because they have worked with us closely for co-creation. We are very appreciative. And also, there are many startup companies who have the great value in expanding the scope of mobility, and we would like to achieve the so-called prosperous and dream-inspired mobility society. So from this viewpoint, in this Japan Mobility Show Biz Week to Future, together with the startup, the corporations for the next generation, and also other industries with whom we have not had much touch point in the past, so that we can create new opportunities for business co-creation. We hope to see many new ideas emerging in various places. So this Future Mobility Forum is to be held for the next 4 days. And together with the colleagues in the startup industries as well as other industry experts, we would like to focus upon 3 main themes. And we need to identify the challenges that we need to overcome in order to realize the mobility-oriented society and create the opportunity for co-creation so that we can come up with the idea for the creation, the solution of the problems. So the topic number 1 is carbon neutrality. The target is to achieve carbon neutrality by 2050. And we only have 25 years to go. So we have to embark upon this immediately. So the EV hybrid automobiles are not the only solutions for the carbon neutrality. The so-called multi-pathway is the idea that we have adopted, including the use of hydrogen as well as alternative fuels. And also life cycle assessment is another way that we can make contribution, starting from the production to the disposal of the products. And the wide range of activities are required. Topic number 2 is the manufacturing or the monozukuri, which is the strength of Japan. Sensors, robots, AI, and technologies are expanding explosively. And in the automobile industry as well, and in the mobility industry, digital transformation is ongoing, and technology is playing a very important role. So, and these changes also lead to major changes in the industrial structure as well as the supply chain. So we would like to take this opportunity to think about the potential possibilities of monozukuri or the manufacturing to realize the breakthrough. And the third session features the connection of people, things, and the events, and it leads to creation of new value on the transportation area. So we are facing the issues such as the aging of the population and the labor shortage. And the Japanese mobility industry wonders how to cope with these approaches, these issues with new approaches. And what are the essential values that we can achieve to achieve the transportation in mobility? The automotive and autonomous driving and the sensing are the areas where we are seeing the advancement of the technologies, and these may lead to solution of the societal issues, and co-creation is also needed for this. We would like to explore new values. And these are the 3 themes that the JAMA are facing upon, and they are also closely connected to the challenges that we have set. The 7 challenges altogether, as you see here, and I'm very excited that we will be able to explore our ideas about these 7 challenges. And with this, I'd like to conclude my presentation. Mr. Katayama, thank you very much.
And we would like to proceed to part 2, the thematic session, but I would like to set the stage for that. So if you could just bear with us, please. Thank you, everyone, for waiting. So from here, I would like to proceed to part 2 of the special session with 4 panelists. So please allow me to introduce the 4 panelists. Please come up onto the stage. Please welcome the panelists with a warm round of applause. So please take your seats. So to begin with, I would like to introduce the panelists. So, the chairman of the Japan Automobile Manufacturing Association, JAMA, we have Mr. Masanori Katayama. So this is Katayama again. And I was very much looking forward to participating in this Future Mobility Forum today. Thank you. Next is from the Japan Auto Parts Industries Association, JAPIA, Chairman Mr. Takashi Katayamo. My name is Kayamoto from the JAPIA, but I'm originally, I'm actually a chairman of a company that produces springs. And I've been an engineer all my life, and I've always been involved in R&D, but I'm now having to engage in management, which is not something I like very much, but still the same. There were a lot of new things, startups, and it's been very exciting today. In fact, I was here before lunch, and I was going around looking at exhibits. I was having a very good time, but I'm very much looking forward to the session. Thank you. So from the Global Mobility Services, we have Representative Director, President, CEO, Mr. Tokushi Nakashima. And he has attracted attention for providing a financially inclusive mobility fintech services by providing opportunity for people to obtain new cars, making it possible for the usage of loans and leases, and even for those people with low credit worthiness who couldn't use mobility finance in the past and have won the Ministry of Economy, Trade, and Industry Award in a year. Thank you very much for inviting me here, and I'm sure you expect me to speak as a startup. I've been involved in the automotive industry for some 30 years. In the first half, I was involved in the manufacturing of electric vehicles. And in the second half, I've been involved in mobility services. And through the great take-up of mobility services, we wanted to provide the benefit to the people. And then we've been providing these type of services on a global basis. Very much looking forward to discussing with the other colleagues. And at the end of this forum, I hope that you will feel that the mobility society of the future is going to be bright. Thank you very much. Next is the Representative Director of Lubic, Mr. Toru Yamanaka, attracting attention from the mobility industry as a developer of Lubic, a navigation and guidance application created with your own voice. Well, my business is application service using the navigation that uses your voice. So when you live your daily lives, there are uniqueness everywhere, and so it's actually a navigation that distributes content. So your experience can be leveraged for others. They provide support for people nearby. So this is a kind of service that is inclusive in nature. So we started from the telecommunication area, cloud, and robotics, IoT. So I've gone through the startup and business companies in that regard, and very much looking forward to the discussion today. And thank you very much. Thank you. So we should be able to discuss mobility from the various perspectives so for people represent different areas. So this is a theme for part 2 of the special session. Co-creation and open innovation to achieve mobility society. So that is the theme for the session. So in Japan right now, there are concerns of impact towards the industry and society due to the population decline in Japan. And so one of the key challenges for transforming seriously the society is this. And so the automotive expands to the mobility, and mobility will become a fundamental presence for industry and society. So we will engage in discussion as to whether the mobility industry can become the transformation driver for our society towards 2050. We will have 4 sections in this part. Then the first section is on the theme Future Society Created by the Mobility Industry, and we'll hear the social transformation about mobility from JAMA and JAPIA. The second the theme is expansion of mobility from automotives. So people in the mobility industry, what is their prospect in regards to expansion and transformation? And the third theme is challenges to be addressed for the industry as a whole towards 2050, both short-term and medium to long-term, and areas of contribution. So we are looking at 2050 here. And the last part is the importance of co-creation and questions to the society as a whole towards realizing their vision. So what is the type of innovation created by co-creation by the industry as a whole? And that would be the theme that we want to address there. So now the theme for the session overall is co-creation and open innovation to achieve mobility society. So the Katayama-san and Kawamoto-san, what is the vision of social transformation by mobility as envisioned by JAMA and JAPIA? So Katayama-san, you did actually make a speech before, but please share with us your view. Well, as I've explained at the opening remarks, as JAMA, towards realization of mobility society, there are three key points. First is carbon neutrality, second is monozukuri or manufacturing, and the third is creation of added values. First, in regards to carbon neutrality or net zero, of course, the global warming or climate issues are what we are facing, but as JAMA, we are pursuing multi-pathway. In other words, we want to achieve electrified society through various diverse options. JAMA has always been communicating to the world in this regard, but sometimes it was difficult to obtain understanding in some part. But at the G7 summit in Hiroshima, the government also provided us with quite a significant support. And that kind of was a catalyst to realizing large transformation or large changes. Rather than achieving or creating confrontational axis, but we need to think about the situation which are different from country to country, the energy policies which are different from country to country. And so by sharing that, to come up with kind of partners or collaborators and to think about diverse options. And I think that is what we need to pursue to achieve those the goals. The second, and I thought about the three themes, but the third, point that I mentioned before was in regards to creation of additional values in creating a mobility society, not centering car at the center, but placing consumers at the center of the new society. And if that's the case, what are the needed services? What are the needed social structures? And that is the perspective that we are trying to take. So this will be insufficient just based on the automotive's hardware, so we want to look at that in creating value. The last is monozukuri or manufacturing. And the automotive industry, and we have some 2.5 million members, and we've been communicating a position, but realization of the mobility society will, as a consequence, will further strengthen Japan's competitiveness. And so we want to really focus on that manufacturing in that regard. That is all. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Next, Mr. Kawamoto, how about your idea? Yes, we at the JAPIA, so the car OEMs, and we have supplied the parts and components to them. But from that perspective, we would like to work together to create the automobile industry and also expand it to mobility industry. That is the mission that we have to fulfill. Particularly to the societal or the social needs, we need to respond to that fully. So because we need to reduce the burden on the environment, carbon neutrality, and the recycling of the resources, so-called the circular economy, is to be realized. So these are what we would like to do in a midterm perspective. As for short-term perspective, we face the labor shortage issue and also the supply chain distribution issues. We need to solve them as well. But one more thing, automobile industry, if it expands to mobility industry, it still continues to be the most important core industry supporting Japan, meaning that we have to maintain competitiveness. So looking at the entire supply chain, we need to enhance the competitiveness. How to achieve that, how to maintain that is the key focus. And we'd like to be even stronger than what we are today. So that is the major challenge we would like to face as a JAPIA and fulfill. Whether it is supply chain or value chain, we alone are not able to do everything. We would like to work closely with JAMA and with other industry associations. And for example, the startups as well. These they can bring us on the new technologies and new ideas. So we would like to proactively capture them as well to enhance the overall competitiveness of Japan, and that is what we are expected to do. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. So not just providing parts, but improving the resilience of the supply chain. So next I would like to ask Yamanaka-san, from the perspective of a startup, whether it be a co-creation or the relationship of the startup, and also in regards to social transformation, what type of social transformation can you contribute through mobility? Well, as a startup, we are very, I suppose, light-footed. So whether it be field work or workshop, or we can go and look for the issues or challenges whenever we want based on our judgment. So if we go to regional cities, we have an ultra-Asian society. And so a lot of the rural cities are populated more than 50% by elderly people. So what are the challenges that we need to address? And if we use software technology, how can we contribute to resolving those issues? So it's an ultimate the R&D that we are engaged in, and we want to share that with everyone and to create solution together as a co-creation. Of course, startups don't have a lot of money, and so we want to collaborate with operating commercial entities. And what we discover can be created into solution together. So Japan, unlike overseas, I think there is a uniqueness here. And we can do this for Japan overall, creating a value. Thank you.
So we would like to move on to the next section, which is the expansion from automobiles to mobility. That is what we would like to talk about. So to realize this vision, how far we have come so far, that is what we would like to know. Katayama-san, could you please explain to us how far we have come? Yes, as I mentioned earlier, well, so we used to have a Japan Motor Show, but we changed it to Mobility Show last year because the world's leading Japanese the automobile companies, their products and the services, rather than showcasing them only, well, if we put consumers in the core and the center of the society, what are the mobilities required by the consumers and users, and what kind of society we need to create? That is the starting point of our discussion. So the automobile industry has provided services so far, but that is not sufficient. That's not enough. And it is it may be a new beginning to us, but we will be able to let other players join us to make this industry even stronger. So we need to go beyond the current borderline and create a new industry. So and that is what we would like to make commitment to. Thank you very much. So mobility society, looking at the mobility society, hardware and software, both of them have to be looked at. So Nakashima-san, I'd like to ask you.
So the scalability or the scalable or not from automotive to mobility, and you talked about financial inclusiveness. So what is your view there? Well, as Mr. Katayama has mentioned, when you place consumers at the center, then the scalability of mobility is endless, I think. This will just continue to expand, and there is no question about this. And co-creation, the key word for today. Not competition, but co-creation. In order to realize co-creation, what do we need the most? Well, in my view, it's people, the human talent, the JAMA or JPR and so forth. And they have continued to evolve through operation. And so it's founded upon significant effort of our forefathers in that way. So we have great the automotive components. But when we think about mobility society, we need to get engagement of a lot of players. And so in that regard, the experience or intuition or know-how, sometimes these need to be ignored in creating fusions of the new. So do we have enough people to enable such a co-creation in the society? And we need to convince people internally, and we need to work towards realizing something like a dream involving people from the outside, involving the government, the research institute, and the various industrial organizations. So we need to get the engagement. So creating these people or the human talent in that regard will enable the mobility and the mobility society to take a step forward or a couple steps forward. In that regard, I think this is a key thing.
人材ですと。
Okay, so the talents and the human resources are important. Yes, in that sense, a startup has a full of very competitive and the competent talents. So the idea is to how to make use of them. So the open innovation requires the good talents. Next, we would like to move on to the next section. So what are the challenges that we are actually facing? That is what we'd like to look at. So what industry as a whole should do towards 2050, including short-term challenges, mid to long-term challenges, and how we can make contribution for the future. So Yamanaka-san, Mr. Yamanaka from Rubik, I'd like to ask you first. So in the mobility industry, well, the solution to solve the challenges, I know that these solutions are being offered by Mr. Nakashima and Mr. Yamanaka. Could you please explain more in detail about what you offer? Yes. So as if you are actually being assisted by a person, and we would like to provide the service as if you are assisted by people. So the people who know about you most can provide such support and the service. So starting point of this service is to work on math and create business, how to capture data, the business mode taken by GAFA, rather than depending on that kind of approach. Well, we look at the other aspects. For example, the people who are close to you, family members, friends, and the people who are near you, how they will be able to provide support to you or other people. And as you walk in the city, you will be able to offer service, and also you can hear their voice as well in our service, so that they will be assisted in navigating and moving in the society. So the AI, like generative AI, was often used to develop such services. Diversity can be assisted by that. However, what we do is to look at the individual personality and the individual differences of the people, and how to achieve diversity based upon that individual difference is important. And the Japanese the approach of the hospitality can be part of such services. Thank you very much. And also same question to Nakashima-san, Mr. Nakashima. So what are the challenges you see towards 2050 industry as a whole? How to push the society and industry forward to 2050 challenges. That is what we can do in our company. Well, the loans, leases, there are many, 1.4 billion people are not able to get the financial support like the loans, and they account for 20% of the total population in the world. And 150 million units of cars are being built and sold worldwide. But there are so many people who are not able to buy those cars. And so our service is to support such people, and we are providing the services in 4 different countries, including Japan. And the people who are hard workers but not able to receive the loans available from financial institutions can enjoy the financial support. We start by our company, and we started just as the startup. But the 2,600 the automobiles, and also we supported these people with the ability to drive over the thousands of the kilometers. So I have experience in the Japanese automobile industry and also in the Philippines as well. And we try to make the EV more popular in that society. And we explained that the EVs are wonderful, but the people in the emerging countries, they are not able to receive the financial loans from the banks, because banks are not willing to offer the loans to them. So carbon neutrality by 2050, if we are to achieve that, we have to make sure that all the people will be able to buy the EVs or other environmentally friendly cars. So that is what we always keep in our mind as we provide the services. And what I feel in doing this the startup business is, as I mentioned earlier, well, because of the hard efforts by auto manufacturers, today's business has been created and achieved. However, in order to achieve the mobility society, there are so many other things we have to do. That means they need to involve people like us and create a totally new industry. We have to make the successful story, successful experience out of that. And that has to be shared. That is necessary in order to achieve the future issues, for example, the carbon neutrality by 2050. And we have to make many of these successful stories. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Yamanaka-san and Nakashima-san. It seems that there is an infinite possibilities of the mobility that lie ahead of us. So, Kaimoto-san, I want to ask you, based on the discussion thus far, so for 4 days, starting today, we'll have the Biz Week, and the themes, the EV take-up, carbon neutrality realization, Japanese monozukuri, these are the themes that we are going to address over the next 4 days. But what are some of the things that we should really focus on in regards to the initiative up ahead? Well, Nakashima-san is a great speaker, and he's got long legs, so that's a bit of a challenge speaking after him. But let me start by saying that are we going to look at this over a short term or medium term? And if it is medium term, then the challenge is reduction of environmental load. And of course, carbon neutrality is where the focus is placed upon the most, and the reusage of the resources. But in order to realize carbon neutrality or net zero, so cars being developed or being produced or the cars being driven, and in each of these stages, we need to achieve net zero, the carbon neutrality. So when the vehicles are being driven, and because we are auto manufacturers or auto part manufacturers, so when we think about what we can do in the manufacturing stage or being driven the stage, one of the biggest the solution that we have is EV. But not just me, but I think there is a general consensus that there are a synthetic fuel, there is hydrogen as a fuel, and how can we better utilize internal combustion engine? There are many good solutions available to address all those. So inclusive of that, we need to first work on reducing an environmental load. How to resolve that social challenge is what we need to work on. And this is probably the most important thing that we need to work on. Also, at the same time, if we take the perspective of monozukuri or manufacturing, population is decreasing, and the population will continue to decrease. There is no question about that. So in that kind of environment, how can we produce things more efficiently? And there is a mid to long-term issue in that regard, but also what we to do to the foreign workers, the distribution, the price of items increasing. There are issues that our industry face directly as well. So we need to address both of those aspects. But in any case, the key word, the important key word is that even for 2050, the Japanese mobility industry will continue to support Japan. It will be one of the core industries. That is what I'd like to see. That is what must be realized. And so how can we do that as the supply chain overall, or as a value chain overall? We need to take on a small step at a time to address that in one sense, but at the same time we need to utilize new knowledge, the new wisdom. How can we embed that? I think those two avenues where we can work towards achieving that solution. Not easy, but it's an important challenge never the same.
Mr. Kayamoto, thank you very much. So how to embed and incorporate new knowledge, new wisdom. With that in mind, I would like to move on to the next section, which is about the importance of co-creation to achieve the vision and approach to the society as a whole. So we have discussed about the current status and the challenges. So Mr. Katayama, do you think that the future vision of 2050 can be achieved only by mobility industry, or what is your idea about the achievement of the 2050 vision? Yes, to give you the conclusion first. Current on the automotive in the manufacturer-centered current mobility industry alone is not able to achieve this vision of 2050. We need new colleagues, new partners. We need to welcome them to our initiatives. Otherwise, we are not able to solve the challenges and issues, as Mr. Yamanaka and Mr. Nakashima and Mr. Kayamoto repeatedly mentioned. And what I feel is that even if we use what we have in our hands right now, separately we are not able to solve the issues. We need to combine our knowledges and expertise, and then that will be our new knowledge and new wisdom. And in order to realize that, diversity is the key to create a new added value and create a new knowledge leading to innovation. I believe that the diversity is the key. And I also agree with the other members. To cite the example of Isuzu, we are developing various people, and from outside, we are also using the consultancy services by the third party, but the people development and looking at the results of the education and training, sometimes results are surprising. So if you are at the general manager or above, the evaluation tends to be the same. In other words, we tend to be quite uniform and homogeneous in nature. What this means that everybody is different when they join the company. However, the company requests them to become more efficient, and then gradually they lose their individual differences and some of the edges, and they tend to become quite similar as they are promoted within the organization, and that is not conducive to innovation. So how to create or to welcome something different in nature is the key to innovation. And then chemical reaction can be expected by the people with totally different ideas and the approaches. So in many ways, diversity shall be promoted. Mobility industry shall welcome diversity and the differences among the people. And all of us should work together and with the same target to achieve innovation. So I mentioned about the award, and with that as a starting point, I would like to introduce more diversity and inclusion to the organization. Katayama-san, thank you very much. And Yamanaka-san, Nakashima-san, any idea about the co-creation? Any ideas?
Well, having listened to Katayama-san, I think he really hit the nail. And I don't think there is any difference in view from the startup perspective in that regard. But it is something that has been established based on the history thus far, and there are a lot of pressures. That there are a lot of the heavy pressures. So when we talk about the new future, as I said before, so what is important is how to assess the people's ability to act, and or how can we provide support. So it's like a D&I in one sense. And so if you want to pick grapes, you need a kind of a step. Then you can increase the height of the step, and you can actually lower that as one grows, wanting to still pick grapes. So that's the kind of thing that we need to show in the mobility society as well. For myself, in April this year, in regards to mobility service. It seems that user perspective or user views, whether it be, I think those are not really communicated to those entities providing solutions. So things won't arrive. We'd like to move from point A to point B, but we don't have the means. And then the local governments are trying to resolve that, but we're not seeing a real solution. So that is what I hear often. And people have different positions and different perspectives, but we try to go over that and try to achieve the horizontal linkage. We have created Mobility Service Association. So there, we are placing consumers right at the center, and the pains. Of course, JAMA is at the top of the hierarchy of the automotive industry, but so when we actually break that down, then we have the regions, and I think there is a role to really link that. So together with METI or the Together MLIT, we've been discussing to really promote that, and the mobility service has been discussed in various places, and I think it's infinite, and there are so many hints that we can look into, and there are a lot of people facing challenges, or in 5 years or 10 years' time, we want information to get a hint for the future, despite the fact that we don't know issues. So there are a lot of people like that that I come across. And so this type of initiative, I think, is going to be a one step towards co-creation in one sense. So even for those people who have not been involved in the mobility industry, their flexible thinking is essential. It's only upon people coming together that the mobility society as a whole can really raise the level. So Yamanaka-san, and we have received comments, if I could receive your comment from Nakashima-san, Yamanaka-san as well. So talked about D&I before, and I wanted to ask you here, and the motivation for going from place A to place B. So maybe looking for something new, or something looking for uniqueness, or individuality or change, or there's usually a motivation there. So if you want to go to a new place, or you want to create a kind of the trigger to go out every day, but unless there is a change, people don't go out. So what we're trying to do is to create that opportunity for people to go out. If we go to regional cities and talk, and what I often hear is that, understand, there are things that we need to do before we can actually go from place A to place A to communication with people, linkage with people. It's only when we have those the trigger that the movement occurs. So we are trying to provide both the provisional tool as well as the contents. In the society, there are many changes. We need to try to extract that and to try to communicate your individuality, and to the society need to accept this individuality and to create that the inclusiveness. And so there is business element, inclusiveness, there is also social inclusiveness. And by providing both of those aspects, we are able to create a society that makes sense. And in that regard, I want to contribute to changing the mobility society of Japan into the future. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. I'd like to also welcome closing the one last comment from Mr. Katayama and Mr. Kayamoto. So competition and the co-creation, collaboration. So in the parts industry and automobile industry, most of the challenges are competition. That is the nature of the industry. But we would like to introduce the concept of co-creation and working together to coordinate our activities. That is what we would like to encourage, and expand the area where we can work together. So that is what is needed by this industry in order to make the society better and achieve the mobility society. So there are challenges at the same time. Over there, well, in other words, there are startup companies and the members of the JAMA as well, the JAPIA. But it is wonderful to see the exhibition of various companies. So many things that I didn't know or didn't realize the existing, and it may be interesting to look at the other section, which is presented by the startups and also the new players. Please take a look at them. And then that's going to give you an exciting feeling, and it is a good point about this mobility show. Thank you very much. Lastly, but not in the least, Mr. Katayama, please. Yes, today, indeed, I'm very pleased. When I came up to this stage, I mentioned that I was looking forward to talking with you, and now I had this discussion, which was quite inspiring and stimulating, and I was able to confirm that we are looking in the same direction. So as JAMA, we set the very big vision for the future. And just talking with you and all the other members enhanced the possibility of achieving that vision, which was exciting. And we changed the name of the show to Mobility Show last year. And co-creation platform was a concept, not the competition, but the co-creation platform working together. And the this week version event is what we are having right now. And I realized that this is a very correct and adequate approach and the direction to look at. So working together with all of you, we'd like to create a brighter future. Thank you very much, Mr. Katayama. So we have had this session for a little more than 1 hour. So through the inclusive the approach, the mobility society is to be created. And ladies and gentlemen, please give all the panelists a warm round of applause. Thank you very much. So panelists, please go back to your seats and backstage. Now, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for your participation and watching this show. So from this point onward, there will be an announcement session by Mr. Shinji Aoyama, Chairman of Japan Mobility Show BizWeek 2024, and we are going to make the stage set up for that session. So please wait a while. Appreciate your cooperation.
From here, we'd like to explain about the events scheduled to be conducted next year, which has been announced for the very first time today. So please take a look at the summary of the video from last year.
I'm slipping away, so don't let me go, nah, 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 nah. I'm all up in that love haze, so where do we go, nah, nah? Just let me know that I am safe here in your arms. I wanna stay, stay. I'm
So, we'd like to have Mr. Oyama, the chair of the Mobility Show Committee, explain about the overview of the Japan Mobility Show for 2025. So, Mr. Oyama, please come up onto the stage. So, Mr. Oyama, over to you. As introduced, my name is Oyama, the chair of the Mobility Show Committee. Thank you everyone for participating today, whether it be in person or through online today. Now, last year, we held Japan Mobility Show for the very first time, and this was, in fact, an evolution from a Tokyo Motor Show to an automotive comprehensive exhibition, which is essentially a co-creation platform to present a new future with the new colleagues. So we have the Tokyo Future Tour depicting the lifestyle scenarios where future mobility will play an active role. The Japan Future Session, where evolution of mobility was discussed with many experts, and the Startup Future Factory with the participation of new peers and colleagues. Of course, there are people who have been visiting from the days of Motor Show, and we are providing contents that they're able to feel evolution, and they are able to feel the future of the mobility. We have many contents of excitement, and this is because we are seriously aiming to create a mobility society that is prosperous and full of dreams, and we have had 1.1 million people visit last year. As for exhibitors, we had many people participate, whether it be from startup or from various industries, also from the customers. We have received a lot of positive feedback that they were excited to see their future, and they are highly anticipating what is coming in the future. And this year, as a new challenge, we have created various programs on the theme of co-creation to accelerate the building of the future mobility society. In fact, we will be holding for 4 days, starting today, Japan Mobility Show Biz Week from this year. We will have 2 events, namely Japan Mobility Show Biz Week for business audience and Japan Mobility Show for general audience. And these will be held as a set in alternative years. And these new initiatives started today. And as we head towards the future, as an organizer, I'd like to express our thoughts about the Mobility Show once again.
Mobility Show.
So we believe that the mission of the Mobility Show is to energize Japan and increase the number of people who are excited about the future. To achieve this, the mobility industry must be the driving force, and co-creation by all of Japan is necessary. Important thing is to involve new people, talk about the future, and create the future together. So with this in mind, the catchphrase for next year is "Let's look for an exciting future." Next year, we will again offer programs with 3 major keywords to satisfy our customers. In mobility at the core, things to get you excited about the future. We are excited about the mobility culture that we have cultivated over the years, and new business co-creation to create the excitement of the future. From here, I will explain each of these 3 keywords more in detail. The first keyword is future. The Tokyo Future Tour, a project to experience the future society where mobility will play an active role, will be further enhanced and expanded. We will show you the vibrant future of mobility, and we hope that many visitors will take home with them the exciting future society. And the second keyword is the culture. We believe that this will be an opportunity to encourage not only existing motor fans, but also those who have little interest in mobility to become more interested in it. With this in mind, we plan to offer a wide variety of programs focusing not only on future mobility, but also on the appeal of mobility itself and mobility culture. And the third is creation. We will continue to the co-creation with new friends, including startups that we are aiming at the Biz Week, which started today. We hope that everyone who attends this event will be able to see the efforts being made throughout Japan to build mobility society and to come into contact with new colleagues in the field of mobility. And in addition, we will continue to evolve our programs and the food content to provide children with the original experience of mobility. We will make this an event where 1 million visitors can experience a variety of mobility and return home excited about the future. And of course, we will show you the new future of mobility proposed by companies. Next year, under the theme of co-creation, we will be presenting the perspectives and the visions of each exhibitors. We hope to see you there and hope you will join us and help us make this event a success. And we would also like to invite new people to join us next year. For this reason, we are reviewing the categories of applications, not only cars and motorcycles, but also IT, information, communication, public transportation, infrastructure, and others who will make the efforts together to develop the mobility society and create the bright future for all of us. So we will accelerate the construction of prosperous and dream-inspiring mobility society through active two-way communication between exhibitors from various industries and visitors to the show. So today, we announced the next year's Japan Mobility Show in November next year, and we will be holding a briefing session for exhibitors and participants on November 21st, and hope that many companies will join us in creating exciting future with a mobility show as a starting point. We would also like to invite the media to join us in creating excitement throughout Japan and to collaborate with us on various programs. Next year, exhibition will be held again at Tokyo Big Sight from October 30th, 2025. We look forward to your participation and attendance. This was a brief announcement of next year's event, and I thank you very much for your kind attention. Mr. Aoyama, thank you very much. With this, we would like to conclude the special session of the Future Mobility Forum. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for your attendance in person or on the web.